Hey, it's P. Today is the day before my new EP comes out. It's called Chicken. By the time you're watching this, it will be out. And it's a three-track EP, and it's something that I've worked on for quite a long time. I think anybody who makes their own music can probably relate to the process I go through, which is that I start dozens of tracks and have loads of ideas, and some of them are literally sketches, and some of them are almost complete songs. And I might spend months on end mixing or over mixing something, or I'll kind of get it to a point, I'll get tired of it, and I'll just leave it, and then one day I'll come back to it and pick it up again. Anyway, so I knew I had to get something finished, and so Chicken is the result of that effort. So it's three tracks that I've been working on. I tried as tried as best as I could to not overdo them, to sort of come up with an idea, work on it, keep the energy going, and get them done, and mix them quickly, and just accept the imperfections. And so that's what we've done. That's what I've done. Um, So yeah, so it's out now, and I'm yeah, and I thought, what better time than now to record my first video as well, because I've toyed with the idea of recording a video before, and I just thought it would be a cool thing to do. So I plan to record some videos talking about the tracks from the Chicken EP, and I certainly will do. But I thought today I could start by because there's a new track I want to work on, and I thought I'd just take you through the process of getting an idea that I've been working on into Ableton, and working on it from there. So as a bit of context, I so the track I'm working on at the moment is I'm working on the Elektron Syntakt. So I've had the Syntakt for a few months now, and the reason I went for the Syntakt, I did a lot of research, and for a long time I was looking at sample-based devices. And don't get me wrong, I love working with samples, and I love it when you find a good sample and it inspires something in you. But the trouble I've always had with working with samples and working with sample-based devices is that it becomes, for me, it becomes an admin task, because you've got to discover your samples, you've got to work out how and where to record them, you've got to get them into the device you want to work on, you've got to then figure out the storage, you've got to figure out where they go, because if you're not careful, you just end up with an unmanageable list of samples. So you've got to kind of do a lot of admin to keep them in order. And some people are amazing at working with samples, and they get a lot of energy out of the process of discovering samples and recording them and working with them and all of that. And that's great, but that's not me. And so the Syntakt appealed to me because actually you can sit down with it, you fire it up, and you create sounds. I haven't once used the inbuilt preset sounds. Not because I'm snooty about it, not at all. You know, I'd happily use them. It's just it hasn't even occurred to me, because I fire it up and I'll just play with it. I'll just keep tweaking sounds until something catches my attention, and I'll build from there. And that's what I love about the workflow of the Syntakt. So anyway, I've been working on a track on the Syntakt, and what I wanted to do in this video is just, well, play it for you and record it into Ableton. And I'm new to the whole Overbridge thing. I've only recorded one track, and it's actually one of the tracks from the Chicken EP. So the track called Sugar, which closes the EP. That was written and composed entirely on the Syntakt, and had minimal composition work in Ableton. And in fact, I don't think I added anything extra in terms of sound design, instruments, and anything. I just I mixed it in Ableton. So yeah, that's that's a Syntakt creation. And anyway, so I'm working on another track on the Syntakt, and I thought what I would do is just record the process of getting it out of the Syntakt and into Ableton using Overbridge. I'm not an expert in Overbridge. I thought this video might then, as a result, be handy for someone who's trying to learn how to use it as well, because we can learn together, and you can learn from my mistakes. So let's jump into Ableton. So when you so to sort of set the scene, I've got my Syntakt here. So there's a few things you need to do first. So you need to install Overbridge, which I've done. So in my plugins, I've got the Elektron machines, and then I've got the Syntakt down here. I left all of the others to install. I don't have all of these, but I've got the Syntakt plugins. And by the way, if anyone can tell me the difference between VST and VST3, I'd appreciate that, because I've got no idea. Anyway, so I've got the Overbridge plugin installed. I've got my Syntakt next to me. It's plugged in via USB. It's not powered on at the moment. Before you get going, you need to make sure that the Syntakt is in Overbridge mode. So, in fact, let me just show you that quickly. So if I switch back to this camera, so I've got my Syntakt here. I'm going to power it on so you can see it booting up. And when it's ready, now, so we'll go into settings, and if you scroll right to the bottom, you've got system, and then at the top of that list, you've got USB config, and then you can see here I've got Overbridge selected. So that just means that when it's plugged into USB and plugged into the computer, it's ready to use Overbridge. So if you exit out of there, you're good to go. So I'm all connected up. So if we jump back over to Ableton, so the next step is that I'm going to load up my Syntakt plugin, and then just check that we've got sound coming out, which we have. So let me just check that that's all working. Yeah, okay, so we've got sound coming out. So if I just close that, so what we've got is this track is now the Syntakt track. I'm going to remove these now. What we need to do is, because the Syntakt is formed of so it's got 8 digital synth tracks. It's got 4 analog, and then it's got the delay reverb, and it's got the effects track, and I think it's got an input track as well. So what we need to do is break each of those down into separate audio tracks within Ableton. So we are going to need I believe 14. Let me just check. So yeah, once you've created your tracks, you can then select Syntakt, and then select each of the individual Syntakt tracks. So let me just show you. That's the I was going to say kick. That's a kick machine, but it's not really. It's kind of a kick. So yeah, if we go through each one, we go Syntakt as the input, track 3, Syntakt track 4. I'll quickly go through setting up. I won't speed this up, because to be honest, when I'm trying to learn this stuff, I kind of appreciate when you get to see someone else doing it, and you get to see all of the ugly steps that you need to go through, because this is how you do it. Now, if I was smart, what I would do is I'd save this as a template. So that's probably what I will do. I'm just hesitating there because I've just realised that the BPM is wrong. So the Syntakt has synced up with the Ableton clock. Whoops. Which isn't ideal because the BPM of my track is actually not 120, so I'm going to fix that in a minute. So anyway, we've got 12 audio tracks, and then we've got the FX track, and then finally we've got the delay and reverb. I'm not going to create one for the for this input because I'm not running any other instruments through the Syntakt, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm just going to double check now that I've got all of them. So I've got track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, FX and delay reverb. Cool. Now, like I say, we've got a bit of an issue with the clock. So from memory, I think the track that I'm working on is 180.9 BPM. I know this because I was just looking at it. We'll find out in a second if that's right or not. If I just start playing the track quickly, what you'll see is that the sound is coming through through this track here. Yeah. So, but what we really want is all of it to come via these tracks. So I am going to turn off this track, mute that track even, and I'm going to monitor each of these. Now, I'd be lying if I said that I truly understand how these monitor settings work. I've watched videos on it and I've forgotten what I learned, but hey, let's just go with it. There you go. But you can see the sound is coming through through the individual tracks. So that's the process there. Now, what we need to do next is record in the audio from the Syntakt. So what I will do is arm each of these tracks. Now you have to hold Command or Control if you're on a Windows to arm them all. I'm not sure if there's a quicker way to do this. If there is, please share it. I'd love to know. Anyway, so that's all set. And then I think we are all good to go. So on the Syntakt, I've just selected the pattern. So I've got the track arranged into multiple patterns. I can just show you that actually. So we've got here, if it focuses, I've got my track across 9 different patterns, and that's what I'm going to record. So I'm going to work through that. So we're going to record that now. So let's jump back into Ableton, and it's just a case of, so it's all synced up. So it's a case of hitting record. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so it's working. Okay, cool. So that's what I've got so far. That's all from the Syntakt, and we're kind of at this stage we're kind of done with the Syntakt for now. Now, a couple of things to mention. The first thing is that the Syntakt records everything quite quietly. I don't know. I think it's just set that way. When you record it into Ableton, it's pretty quiet. You've got a lot of headroom. So what I would do next is I'll first of all turn the monitoring settings to off. Like I say, I don't really know what that means, but hey, it means I can hear it now when I play it through Ableton, which is good. I don't need those armed anymore. So let's unarm these. I don't know if I need to be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. Cool. So we're all set. I don't need the Syntakt plugin anymore. In fact, I might power off the Syntakt now because I've got everything I need within Ableton. Now, what I was saying before is that these are all pretty quiet. So what I'm going to do is just turn up the gain. So if I select all of my tracks, I'm just going to turn up the gain by, I don't know, 10 dB. Yeah, and then it's going to be easier to work with. So let's just listen to how that sounds. Cool. So yeah, more like it. And so now I've got all of my different sections to work with. Now another thing to note is that the Syntakt is it's a mono device, so everything here, if I turn this down a bit, everything here is mono. All of the tracks are mono. The only one which has some stereo information is the effects track. So this isn't even the effects track. This is the delay and reverb sends. So return tracks. So yeah, we've got some stereo information there, but everything else is mono. But it means that we've got this nice bass on which to mix. So if I just stop that for a moment, the next thing I'm going to do with this track is start working on the arrangement. So I've got the kind of bones of something that I've written on the Syntakt. I've kind of got a rough arrangement, but it's currently just a rough idea. I like some of the sections in here. I like a lot of the sounds. I love a lot of the sounds that the Syntakt makes. So my next step is to start fleshing this track out. What I'm thinking is that I want to record some guitar onto it. Certainly some bass guitar onto it. And I may well add some other instruments. I might want to record some live drums. When I say live drums, via an electronic drum pad, just to give it, because I like music that has a bit of that human imperfection to it, and I find that if I record some organic instruments, or I record some stuff just myself, that's not on the clock, it gives it that sense of life. So that's what I'm planning to do next. So I'm gonna end the video there, and what I'll do next is I'll record another video when I've kind of progressed a bit further with this track, and I'll kind of share where we're at with it. And like I say, I want to record some stuff on the tracks from Chicken, and we'll kind of share kind of updates as we go. So hopefully I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you for lasting this long. Bye.